Hi there. So actually, I didn't even want to make this video because I don't really like talking about my English score that much. But one of my subscribers actually demanded for it, and of course, I love my subscribers. So I mean, I said, why not? So I'm actually talking about how I improved in English language, the use of English as it's called in the UTME. So I moved from a 62 in 2023 to 69 in 2024. So how did I do it? That's the question. I actually have my notes here because it was quite impromptu, and due to my busy schedule, I couldn't just memorize everything. So I wrote everything out, and I hope that you get something from this video. Okay. As some of you may know, or most of you may know, those of you who are preparing for UTME 2026, the use of English on the UTME is divided into different parts. We have comprehension. Under comprehension, we have also have closed text. We have lexics and structure, which includes synonyms, antonyms, idioms, and so on. We have oral English, which involves sounds, vowels and consonants. Then we also have stress still under oral English. Then we also have what's the other one? We have the novel which everyone is expected to read and answer questions on. So those are the areas um, that make up the use of English examination. Of course, it has 60 questions which are to answer all an objective exam, as you should know. Now, what are the steps that I recommend? First of all, swallow your pride. Yes, we Nigerians, when it comes to English language, we feel that since it's our language, we know everything about it. We hardly study English, especially the ones who, are going into, let's say, engineering, science related fields in the future. They don't find English quite necessary or important. If the JAM did not make English compulsory, I'm sure many people wouldn't have opted for it at all because it's the one that people end up having the lowest score in. Of course, even me, it affected me. What I'm saying is that do not regard English language as unimportant. Take it important. It's as important as the other three subjects. A low English score could deny you admission. Yes, you should know that. So what I'm saying is that take it important. Swallow your pride. Study English like you study other subjects. Take it important, and of course, you will see a score you admire or a score that is proud beholding. Okay. So now number one, okay, that was step zero. Step one now, download your English syllabus. Since you've decided that English is important, download the syllabus online. That's easy to do. And then next, also have a copy of this book, JAMS, A to Z of JAMS Use of English. I think I'll put it somewhere in the description below, so because it's really important. A to Z of JAMS Use of English. That's the book that helped me move from my previous score to the better one. Okay, A to Z of JAMS Use of English. It's really actually a good book. It covers everything based on the JAM syllabus. And of course, why not use a book that focuses on the exam you want to take? Why go to Sokoto when it's in your Shokoto, as we do call it? The next one, have a copy of the Remix series. So the Remix series is a book that um, that um, gives questions or where you practice questions topically. So you have questions based on certain topics. So there are questions on comprehension passages, like lots of them. There are questions on synonyms, there are questions on antonym, questions on um, oral English, and a couple of them. So the remix series is actually available for all subjects, most of the subjects, besides the science subjects. And if you want a copy, I think I'm going to put in the description also. So it's actually a good book. It's a book that helps you not only prepare for the exam, but to also know where your weak areas and where your strengths are. So have a copy of the remix series, okay? The next, write answers you got wrong and the correct one. Now this is the main thing. This is the reason I made this video. This is how I studied for my UTME English in the next year. So what I'm saying is that if you're using the remix series or you're using A to Z of Jam's use of English, make sure that, especially when it comes to synonyms, antonyms, all those words that you know that you may likely not even see in your exam, because that was my hardest part. That was the part that I had I found most challenging. You know, trying to know words, all those vocabulary, which is actually impossible to study all. So what I did is that I grabbed a book, then after practicing, especially synonyms and antonyms, where I got to meet new words each day. The ones I failed, the ones I was not familiar with, I wrote them down. I wrote them down, and then I wrote their synonyms. Which had something to do with synonyms. I wrote their synonyms. Then I wrote more than two synonyms if the book provided one. Then if it didn't, I searched my dictionary to find other synonyms of a particular word. And I wrote them down. Then Each day I would grab that book, open it, flip through, try to say out those words and their synonyms each day just to get used to the words. It does not just get you prepared for the exam, it helps you improve in your vocabulary and your speaking in the long run. Okay, so I learned a lot of words, prodigious, adamant, or I knew the meaning of adamant, um, pyric, peril, so many words. So I learned a lot of words. And on my exam day, some words did appear, did show up. Like the did show, I was quite surprised. I was happy to see those words. Some words did show up. So this is a very effective way because practicing using remix uses actually uses questions from JAM actually. So you know that those words are from JAM's past questions. So this is another effective way to study past questions. So I wrote down the words I was not familiar with, hoping to see some of them again in the exams, which I did. Okay, so I'm saying that do this and definitely you see a better score in English. That's if you've taken it before, or even if you've not, in your practice sessions, you see improvement. Okay, so try this. Okay, next, like I said, study the words. That was supposed to be my next point. Then regarding the novel, please read the novel more than once. Actually guilty of this. I think I read the novel only one because when it comes to reading storybooks, I think I'm not the best at it. But you're not me. For me, as I read it once, it sticked. Okay, but you're not me. I'm saying. So I would recommend that anyone out there watching this video should read the novel more than once. The first time you would be getting to know about the story. You're new to the information provided, so you're reading slowly and at your own pace. But the second time, you're kind of like skimming through, just going through key points. While you're reading, you can even tell what the next line is going to be or what's going to be on the next page. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that you read the novel at least twice. And then also practice questions on the novel. There's this app called My School app. Also, if you feel that you're not this kind of person who loves to read books, that books are boring, you can also try out certain CBT apps like My School app. My School app is really good. The website version is really good. It provides hundreds or thousands of questions on different topics per subject. So you can find questions on the Lekki Headmaster, which is the current JAMB book, the Lekki Headmaster on My School app. They're there even before, because that book was introduced last year. Even before those who wrote last year actually wrote the exam, the organization, my school, actually prepared questions, likely questions, possible questions that the candidates could see on the day of the exam. So that shows how generous those people are and how legit they are. So try my school app. It gives questions on the novel and on the subjects that you're going to be taking on the UTM. Okay. Then also practice English. And for me, I had a problem with closed text. That was what I kept ruining my score, in the English exam. So what I'm saying is that practice as much as you can. There is no end, there's no limit to practice questions out there. Even if you've exhausted your book, there are practice questions online. So practice as much as you can. Just get used to it, and believe me, on that day, it's just going to be coming off as something that you've already seen before. So everything is just going to be, getting to you easily. Next, do not rush on the exam day. So those of you who love to, because it's English, it's easy. Please make sure that you have a second look at that answer you're picking, because that's one thing. That's one of the score rules. What I'm saying is that try to work at a slower pace. That doesn't mean that you should be slow generally, because English normally is the subject that people finish the fastest and they are most confident in. But at the end of the day, it's the one that is, I don't know, like it's a subject that we scored the lowest in. So what I'm saying is that try to be calm as you take English, and then be sure the answer you're picking is the one that you feel most comfortable with. If it's not, then you can always, well, there are four options. Go for something that that resonates with you and you're quite sure that will be the correct answer. And then lastly, pray, pray, pray. Do not do anything without God. Make sure you pray, because if it's a weakness, of course, God's grace is sufficient to make it a strength. So make sure you pray. Pray at every time. If it's not sticking, pray. Before the day of your exam, pray. During your exam, pray. Please. And of course, the Lord is going to do it for you. So that's the end of this video. I hope that you learned something. And I'm thinking, for those of us who, those of you who are going to write in the UCME exam, I'm thinking of maybe just taking out a week or two to practice questions, on the UTME on topics that people find most difficult with. So if you're watching this video, make sure you do subscribe and also comment below the topics that you find difficult. And I'm going to consider making videos in the future on those topics, especially when it relates to math, physics, and maybe chemistry or even English, like I've talked about today. So please do what you're supposed to do. Like this video, say something down there, and subscribe. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.